Hey guys, Deathloader Gaming here, and what do you do when casinos refuse to pay you, and under what circumstances does it happen? Well, the last video was just practical knowledge. This one you might just find interesting, but it is some fringe circumstances that you might want to look out for. I put some funny gameplay in the background of part 1. People call it engaging, but very few of the people watching this channel are under even 30. I don't think you need me jangling keys in front of your face to keep you on the video, so we're going to put this one full static image, full podcast, and that isn't how I'm going to do things on this channel much, but let me know between the two which one you prefer if I ever just do fun little informational stuff and news stories like this. So the first one is fairly obvious. Either they didn't check your ID on the way in, or you used a fake ID or something, and then you get a hand pay, and they found out from your social that you're actually under 21, or in some casinos and places under 18. Well, that's a problem. Not only are they not going to pay you, they are obligated by law to confiscate the winnings. They cannot legally pay you. Depending upon local laws, they can either keep it or they have to turn over the money to the state, who will hopefully put it towards the school districts or something so that they can prevent juvenile delinquency like yours in the future. You can't say, oh no, actually they pressed the button, unless that's actually true, and then they'll just kick you out and that'll get complicated. Can't claim it was a group pull and that you at least want 50% of your money. So just don't do that. Real simple. Don't do that, obviously. That's basically nobody watching this channel, but I thought, in case you're going to drag along someone and don't want to get in that scenario. So here's a fun one. Ohio casinos in around 2001 started a new program in coordination with the state. It's the, haha, we're not going to pay you program. Just kidding. I think they called it the Intercept program. At least 4 casinos that I could find decided to work with the Job and Family Services Department. And anytime somebody won a hand pay, they would check if they owe child support. If they do, guess what? And we're not just talking like child support at all, where they're like, well, let's adjust it up because then your annual income's going to go up because you won a $50,000 jackpot. That's kind of separate. That's more like IRS end of the year stuff. They wanted to know if you owed back child support, if you were behind on it. Anything from a lien to a bench warrant, you're in trouble. So between 2001 and 2014, I had numbers saying that they recouped, as they call it, at least $3 million. That is insane. Now you might think, how does this benefit the casino? Because they're still paying it out. It's just now they get a bad reputation. Well, they get a bad reputation from the people it affects, which should not be there. Here's the thing, okay? You might think casinos are like, oh yeah, it's just a fun place to come with $100 on like a little almost staycation. You might win, you might lose, but you're gonna have fun. Come get some food too, woo! And then secretly they're like, yeah, we don't care about those people. This guy who just like mortgaged his house and sold his car because he's a gambling addict, that's who we need here. You really don't, because they'd rather just have stable rich people and lifetime customers. Moderately wealthy people, retirees, people who just do it as a hobby, people who do it in their entertainment budget. That's who they want, because that's 10, 20 years easy. That is just more money, and it's less people causing problems and doing dumb stuff and driving up crime in the area, and then the police ask them, why did you do this? Like, well, because I had a gambling debt I can't pay off. Nobody wants that. That looks bad for the casino. It causes problems. Those people have like emotional outbursts and can get violent and just everything about it. You don't want those people anywhere near. So if you go, hey, you know what? I've got an idea. If it's this type of person where they should not be here, clearly that money should be going somewhere else, and they get a jackpot, let's just seize it. Very, very few people took issue with this. Like, very few. So this isn't just an Ohio thing. Oh, no. Louisiana has the Casino Intercept program. They started in 2011, and 18 casinos, almost $1 million seized. New Jersey, Illinois, Colorado, they all have versions of this. So if that's you, bro, like, pay your stuff off. Come on, raise your kids. Be a better person. So this third story is going to anger you so much. However, I couldn't absolutely prove that it was true. It was from 2014, first of all. One of the casino staff members was the one just going online and posting a viral video about this. We don't really have proof that she actually worked there. We don't have proof that it was true. It's assumed to be true. And I've actually heard of a second story really similar to this really recently. So somebody walked in, all right, they hit a $150,000 slot jackpot. $150K, the casino refused to pay them as soon as they saw their ID. He got a little mad. They called the cops, gave him a trespass, and said, you're not welcome here ever again. If I were him, I'd lawyer up, but I don't think he's going to win this one. You know why? Because I actually researched this a little differently now, because I thought I had heard of a third story, and there's actually like 5. So what happened here? Well, the person had decided that they had a problem, or they spent too much, or whatever. There could be any reason, but that's the assumed reason. And they requested at the customer service desk or whatever, I would like to self-exclude, which means ban me from gambling at this facility for X amount of days, either permanently, 30 days, a year, whatever. And they will make sure that the second you put your card into a machine, they will have security tell you you're not supposed to be here. It was your own request. And I don't think they could say, hey, did you change your mind? Once you do it, you do it. Okay, that's a one-way street. So this person had self-excluded, then decided to go back to the casino, won an enormous amount, $150K, and then was refused it because they are effectively not allowed to gamble there. It's as if they were underage or as if they were banned. Well, because they were banned. They were just playing without a card, and the second they got their social, they're like, wait a minute. Now, that doesn't seem like a law. That just seems like a nice thing they do, like a service, like a community service thing. Some states it might be required by law, by like the whole like gambling problem, call a number program that they also have to participate in. But man, does this happen a lot. February 2025, I remember hearing about this. The Parks Casino in Pennsylvania. A 46-year-old man hit a $57,000 slot jackpot, but was denied the payout after they checked his ID and discovered that he was on the self-exclusion list. There is different accounts in most of these where they say they've already been trespassed, or they were trespassed after the fact, or both. They self-excluded, then were found to still be there later, and were trespassed on top of that after they self-excluded. Then there's Denise E. I mean, they give her full name because she's public about this, but, I'm not gonna. MGM Grand Detroit, she won $127,000 in 2023, and sued them shortly after, because it was October, she sued him in 2024. And this one was really bad. There was no self-exclusion, she just wasn't allowed to gamble there, allegedly. MGM refused to pay her, telling her that she was trespassed due to a prior ban. I believe it was for panhandling, if I remember correctly, in that case. So she was asking other people for money, just being a degen. Somebody notified security, they kicked her out and said, you're trespassed. However, in this case, boy, I don't think it's been settled yet, but the rumor floating around was that either trespasses in that state can't be longer than a year, so it was implied that since it was, I believe, multiple years prior, that she had assumed she was allowed to play there again. Also, she might not have gotten it in writing and there was no record of it, but the casino had it on file that she was on the ban list or whatever. Now, they can refuse service to anyone, but if they don't actually tell you that, But then I heard a rumor that she was playing without a card on purpose, and that was ban evasion. So it got really complicated. He said, she said kind of stuff. And then other people were saying well, in the state, if you trespass someone, you have to tell them it's permanent or tell them an amount of time. Otherwise, it's assumed to be 24 hours or something. I don't know. Don't play in a casino if you know you're not welcome there, and don't be this kind of problematic person. Get help, just saying. Another one, Star Casino in Sydney, Australia. David Joe, $285,000. That was back in 2019. Guess what? A court ordered that he get paid in 2022. He was a disabled man. What is wrong with you guys in Australia? Why are you like this? And the casino claimed that the person who was assisting him was self-excluded and or banned. It wasn't clear which. So they couldn't pay the jackpot. A lot of casinos in the states that they're in, it's actually the law. Whoever pressed the button, that's who gets the hand pay. That's who the person was who was gambling. However, in all 50 US states, if you bring someone to assist you to get an ID card or a driver's license or to vote, they can do the whole thing for you, every last step of it, with you there present. And they're not well, here's your ID, sir. You're the one who filled it out, so it's your ID. We're not giving it to this disabled person. No, disability assistant people are considered, invisible. They're, not there legally. But helping someone press a slot button, I don't know. But then there's, really funny laws with that because it's specifically gambling. In America, gambling with someone else's money is legal as long as they're there. Sometimes. If they're physically present, bare minimum, and don't quote me on this, I'm not a lawyer, but you can do a group pull. So you can at least go 50-50 stakes. However, playing for stakes, at least in my state and certainly in Nevada, is illegal even if the person is standing right behind you. No, they're kind of loose on it in most places though, because it's like they're right there. And then like husband and wives, well, what do you do with that? Because they like joint file and it's the same money. But you can't like physically place a bet on a table for someone. If you want to give them money because it's your friend and you're like loading up a table, you have to hand it to them and they have to place it because you can't place it on their behalf. If somebody borrows you money to like max out on Mississippi Stud, you can't then pay them back more as a commission on the bet because then you're playing for partial stakes based on a result. There's all these wacky laws with this kind of stuff, but if you're disabled and can't press the button and the person who pressed the button was just assisting you, they're not the one gambling, in my opinion, and apparently in the court's opinion. That is a dick move. That is just how you, first of all, lose the $285,000 plus probably more in damages, and then also give yourself the worst reputation possible for not paying a poor disabled man who was just there with somebody helping him press the buttons and operate the machines. That is just disgusting. Star Casino in Sydney, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you're still even in business or under the same management, that is just unbelievable. But yeah, there's actually like dozens of other small examples and anecdotes that, you know, make the news once in a while, but people like to keep it quiet, and so do the casinos. They don't like to have the reputation of not paying people. But it's real big in Australia. It's less big in the US. There it's called BetStop or ACMA, where if you violate the self-exclusion, you play anyway, they won't pay you anything if they catch you. In fact, you'll be lucky if they give you back the money you put in the machine if they catch you, regardless of if it's a hand pay. So like, if you're an addict, this is actually like a really good idea to self-exclude, because even if you like mess up, you go there, you get past the ID, the facial recognition, and don't put your card in, which are all terrible ideas. Then even if you win big, which is the thing you're chasing, right? They won't pay you. So you literally cannot win. You're not allowed to win. You'd be better off just like, if you want something similar, like I know some people that had some problems. I just recommend like what I kind of get a thrill out of, which is go to auctions, garage sales, you know, whatever you want, and just buy stuff, flip it, you know, bring it to the pawn shop, sell it on eBay, Craigslist, Facebook, whatever. You can make some good money. That is a really good side hustle if you can type and take photos. I started going big. Like I have over 3,000 feedback on eBay. So like that's like my gambling, except it's tilted in my favor. But then I found out I could just go into a casino and only play AP state machines and then always win. It's starting to feel like work and it's starting to return less and less though. So I'm actually looking at other things, like for example, starting a gambling channel on YouTube. But no, I'm not new to YouTube. I started like 2006. I have 3 other channels. Almost 100K subs between them. So hey, if you like this information, this is more like a fun video than just like me telling you how to always get an edge on casinos in every little way that you can beat them, especially ways that you haven't heard before from the same old tired 8 points that everybody else makes, like always play with your card, there's how you mess with comps, blah 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 blah, odds bet on craps. Bro, no, for real. I'm going to start showing you guys how to really beat really a lot of stuff. Video poker I started with because I know it the best, and it's the highest return to player. But I'm going to throw in some slots too. Decided to do it. So watch for that in the future. You're definitely in the right spot if you want to hear about that. And go check out the first video in this probably 2-part series about what to do if a casino doesn't pay you because of a perceived malfunction. There are like 4 steps you for sure want to do immediately. So you're going to want to watch that video in case it ever happens to you, because that could be a lot of money on the line. Oh, and the Denise website is still pending. I actually just checked. I really wanted to know.